All right, guys, welcome to Beyond the Muscle. I am really pleased to welcome my next guest, Ben Lloyd. Ben is a pro natural bodybuilder. He's also a PT and coach, and he's had an incredible 2024 season. So, Ben started off the year finishing third in a really tough class, the AMBF Elite Pro class. He then went on to win the DFNA Pro class in Denmark, and then he finished second in the WMBF Germany, and soon after that went on to win the Natural Olympia. Ben then finished his season finishing second place at the WMBF Worlds in the pro heavyweight class. So yeah, it's an incredible season you've had, Ben. And yeah, I'd like to know how was it from your perspective?
Probably my best season so far, in terms of results and a really good experience just traveling around the world as well.
Mm.
Went to America twice, Germany, Austria, Denmark. No show in the UK, which were
Right,
different.
right. Well, yeah.
But yeah, in terms of like the results, obviously the wins are good, and just how the prep was overall wasn't like, well, obviously you suffer towards the end, but for a long time I was like, it's too easy this. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Normally at this point I'm pretty much dying, so we timed it well. Obviously, there's always improvements that you can make. You always reflect and think, oh, that could have been different, but and that's why I'll probably do it again. But yeah,
Mm.
overall, just the best season so far, I'd say.
Yeah, that's good to hear. What was the highlight of the year for you, Ben, would you say?
Probably just winning the natural Olympia. It was probably the best one. Obviously, you just always just reflect on the wins. Really, I think the first show in Austria was good, and like I say, just traveling around were
Mm.
great for me because I'm not really like an extra. I don't really do much, but to travel around all these countries, I hired a car in every country as well.
Yeah,
It was just a real good adventure, just going to all the different countries and
yeah.
yeah, just compete in all the different federations,
Mm.
really. Um, would have been brilliant to just come first in that heavyweight at the end because there
Yeah,
was
the
a chance.
WMBF. Yeah, because it was
Yeah,
Samuel Hartman won that one, didn't he?
he did, and I think like 3 weeks before I beat him at the Germany
I know,
shows.
I know. So yeah,
It just shows how subjective it can be. But
yeah.
again, I've seen the pictures. It's not like I think I should have won that. I think he deserved it.
Hmm.
Just think, oh, because in my head, Barder was in the heavyweight. I just thought, well, we're all fighting for second.
Hmm.
And as it were, he came fourth, I think. So
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
a chance there. I mean, because I got second, I were aiming for second. I thought if I get second, that'd be amazing. But
Yeah.
as it were, the second in the circumstances, I'm
Mm,
like, oh, I could have got first there. But
yeah, yeah. It's
um,
a slight bit of disappointment, but
mm.
yeah, you looked incredible. Yeah, because he beat you in the previous show. Did his physique change from show to show? Did he get tighter?
Well, I beat him in the
Sorry,
previous
sorry,
show.
you beat him.
So
Yeah,
he got a
yeah.
bit tighter, and I've been listening to a few podcasts, and the overall consensus with the stage lighting at Worlds was it suited more like silhouettes, the bigger physiques. So the
Right.
slightly leaner physiques, once they got overlooked, but the lighting didn't complement the really like leaner people. So I'd say I was a bit leaner, but his one of his strongest attributes is his quads,
Yeah.
and my weakest is my quads. So
Right.
just that alone, if I was a judge, I'd be like, look at them,
Mm.
the difference on the quads there.
Mm.
Obviously, he's very wide. His lats are really wide as well.
Mm.
So um, yeah, like I say, I mean, how happy with the physique? Just
Yeah.
it's hard to judge really when you look at your pictures. You almost base your physique on the stage pictures.
Yeah.
It's always different, so it's hard to really judge. And
Mm.
obviously, like taking pictures at home and things like that is a good way of checking.
That's true, yeah, because there can be such a difference in like not just the stage line, but the photography as well. There's these things, and yeah, I remember going from one show one week to the next week, and I looked completely different, and I thought my physique can't have changed that much, but yeah, it's these factors. Um,
Good if it
yeah,
were consistent, really, because
yeah,
I think the UK, the FBA, they did the finals, and a few people have said the actual venue's not good, but for me, that stage lighting, the athletes who won it, like I
mm,
think it's called Josh, all the pictures looked amazing,
really,
and that's where I won mine. And I'd always say those were my best pictures.
mm,
The venue might be bad, but the actual stage lighting was really
mm.
good.
Yeah, yeah, and that can make a huge difference, can't it?
Yeah.
What would you say are some of the lessons you've learned this year, Ben, from your season?
Um, well, you've got to start your prep at a good weight. So I've made that mistake in the past where I've just got as big as possible. I think from my perspective, I wanted to produce as well as perform. I wanted to produce a before and after because I'm a coach. I just thought, well,
Mm.
my business is transformations. I'm going to create a massive transformation. I'm going to get as big as possible,
Right.
shredded. And with that, you lose a bit of muscle. So I learned my mistake from that mistake this time round. Just timing the prep is good, and other smaller things like managing your stress, your sleep,
Mm.
they do have big impacts, and that's something which I need to improve next time. Sleep in particular has always been an issue for me.
Right.
I think it just gets bad anyway towards the end.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's good that I'm monitoring my sleep now. I've got like a Aura
Got the
ring,
Oura ring. Yeah, I saw.
and it's just controlling the caffeine for me. I'm big into my caffeine, and it wasn't
Mm.
too bad towards the end, but I think maybe just not having any caffeine,
Mm.
especially when the sleep gets really, really bad. It's
Yeah.
like any caffeine can make it even worse. So it's maybe like probably a very bad supplement to have.
Yeah.
And also stress, but it's unavoidable, I think, for myself. It's I've got two young kids.
You got two kids
They're
now.
hard,
Great.
they're hard work,
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
And just balancing it with that, I think it'd be good to, especially when I went away,
Mm.
stress scores went down on me ring.
Right, right, really.
It's their blinking kids that are winding me up.
That's funny though, isn't it? How old are your kids, Ben?
6 and 2.
Oh, nice. Okay, so yeah, we've got the same age gap. Yeah, we're almost 4 and 8. So yeah, I can't. I'd love to say they get easier, but I would be lying. So yeah,
Every year brings a new challenge, I imagine.
yeah. I think every age brings its own challenges. But yeah, I heard on that podcast you did recently. Obviously, you're working with AJ, and you kept things a lot tighter in the off season. But I'd love to hear like what were some of the biggest, or what was the biggest challenge you faced during this 2024 prep?
Biggest challenge. We had to dig low on the calories, which was interesting.
I
You
noticed that.
know,
Yeah.
got me thinking because I remember one prep where I did myself, my calories very rarely dip below 3,000.
Mm,
I think my expenditure was a bit higher. I was doing more PT sessions, but still, this time round, towards the end in particular, we dropped the calories like below 2,000, which
mm,
if someone had told me that before the prep, I'd have been like, there's no way I'm getting my calories that low, surely.
mm,
We did. I could tolerate it. It was all right, but it was just interesting that, I don't know, again, podcasts you listen to, it's like potentially the more diets you do, the harder it is to get lean. Your body
mm.
almost thinks, here we go again. And we're
Yeah.
going to adapt to this. We're not going to let you, go to the brink of death again. So we're going to make it harder. I don't know. So that was challenging for long
Mm.
periods, just doing them low calorie days.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Have you found it harder? Like, obviously, this is your fourth prep, wasn't it? Has
Uh,
it been harder generally, or has it got a bit easier?
it gets easier in a way in that you know what's about to come. I think the first prep is the hardest,
Mm,
really, because you don't know what to expect.
mm,
But you get that same feeling towards the end of every prep where you're just walking into the gym like flipping out, I'm about to do legs here. I'm just going to power through this. So yeah, I think it does get easier, but it's hard. It is hard, and what's hard as well is knowing that once the diet's done, I used to always think, yeah, I've got another 3 weeks that it's done. My
yeah,
contest prep's done, but it's not. It's like literally you're gonna be feeling crap for a few months after it as well.
yeah, yeah.
So that's almost playing on my head a little bit for the next one,
Yeah.
in that it is longer than you think.
Mm,
So I've even said to AJ for next one, even start even lighter than what I did, so that
mm.
I don't have to, I just want to do a really short diet if possible.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. I think I heard like Jeff Alberts talk about doing a much shorter prep next time, and I can
Mm,
see the benefits of that as well. But obviously, it just means you need to stay a bit tighter in the off season. So that's the tough part, I guess.
the tough bit,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. Obviously, it's so good to see how far you've come in natural bodybuilding. Obviously, we worked together back in 2016 for your first ever season, and yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously, I coached you for those first two shows, and you were really great to work with. Then I remember that you had the good work ethic, you asking the right questions, and yeah, you obviously had an amazing first season on the amateur scene. Um, Winning, what did you won the BNBF Northern and the overall on your first attempt, and then you won the British, you become British champion, and then turned pro all in the space of one season.
Yeah.
So yeah, back then obviously you looked incredible. You still had that kind of really hard, grainy look that only comes from like years and years of training. But obviously now you've obviously laid on slabs of new muscle for like a really more complete, balanced physique. I'm curious to hear. So how has it been making those changes? Or how has it been, sorry, making gains into your like late 30s and now you're 40? Um, has progress been slower? Because obviously it's been amazing to see how much progress you've made.
Mm. Well, I think you make initially a lot of progress, I suppose, because that initial prep that I did, I
Mm.
didn't have an off season. I were already relatively lean. And it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll compete. And then you have a proper off season, and that's where the muscles built. So you start taking it serious. I mean, contacting you was a game changer. I mean, I talk about you all the time to my clients in that my story is like I've been a PT, a coach for 12 years.
Right, right.
For a good 5 years, I didn't know how to help people. I weren't getting any results. And I used to say to people, just avoid sugar, just don't eat after 7 o'clock. And
Mm,
then you really flipped it on its head. I remember contacting you and you sent me some macros for my fitness pal. And I was just like, well, what shall I eat? He says, you just said, well, eat what you want. As long as you
mm.
finish on them. I'm like, what? I can eat what I want.
Yeah, yeah.
And it really just made me learn it that dieting is a numbers game and
Mm,
it created a lot of intrigue. I think sometimes you do take it to the extreme when you learn about flexible dieting. It's like, oh,
yeah.
I have some sweets now, I can do that. But it helped me learn so much about diet. And then I applied it with my clients and yeah, like I say, and just following your journey as well on YouTube, it very much like got me into competing for the first time because
Mm.
you put all your prep on YouTube, didn't
I
you?
did, yeah, back in 2015. Yeah. And I guess, yeah, because I won the overall my first attempt, as did you. And I think, yeah, it was I guess it's quite rare to do that. But at the time I didn't know. I was like yourself, I was like really clueless at the start. I was aware of the BNBF. I didn't know there was another federation. There are other federations out there. I just saw another YouTube video and I thought, oh, that's the BNBF. That must be natural bodybuilding. I thought I'm going to
Mm.
enter their show. I didn't know anything about finals, qualifiers. I just thought I need to just, try and win that show essentially. So yeah, I tried to pass some of that knowledge down to you and to my clients. But yeah,
Well, it
yeah.
definitely inspired me. Like I say, I was following your journey on YouTube and I was thinking about competing. I was like, I've seen this coach on YouTube.
Mm,
He just won his show and he's
mm.
just having a bag of crisps now and again.
Right, yeah, yeah.
I'm like, he knows something that I don't know.
Mm,
A
yeah.
lot of it was to pick at your brain to find out
Mm,
what you knew about diet, but also do a prep. So I kind of benefited from both. But yeah,
mm.
just it was just strange how then you had such a long time off.
It is, yeah. For me, like bodybuilding, yeah. I don't know why. There are many things. I had a kid as well, and I think that was part of it. I started getting into my artwork again, and I just thought, I don't know if this bodybuilding thing is right for me. So yeah, just thought, yeah, I'm gonna have them kind of step away from it. And yeah, like I was saying to, I can't remember who on a previous podcast, I was still pretty much training like a bodybuilder. So I thought I'm gonna kind of, yeah, I'm gonna dip my toes back in. And yeah, I think I'm here to stay now, but we shall see.
So
But
there's something strangely addictive about it,
it
and
is, yeah, it is, yeah, making progress, and yeah, yeah. And the thing is, what's been good watching your journey is you've been training really consistently since, obviously, since 2016 when you first competed, but even before that. Whereas yeah, I've been consistent, but at the same time, I haven't been focusing my whole time on gaining muscle at that time. But yeah, I'm hoping with some good off seasons, I can really start making some progress now. But obviously, I'm 40 as well now, so I'm expecting it to get a bit tougher. But yeah,
same age, aren't we? Is it exactly
yeah,
40? Yeah,
yeah. So when were you born? 84 as well.
84. Yeah.
In what month or
Oh, sorry, March.
March? Oh, okay. Oh, I'm April, so you're a month older than me. So yeah, we're pretty close in age. Yeah, yeah,
Flipping heck. It's
yeah, yeah,
crazy, isn't it? But like I say, I think there's still time to make improvements. So
mm,
definitely
yeah,
not as much time, obviously, but you can
yeah,
still
yeah.
make some, I think.
Have you found it as progress like? I imagine progress is slow, but how much would you say it's slowed down? let's say over the last like 3 or 4 years, how much has progress slowed down for you? Or are you still making notable gains in the gym, strength and physique wise?
Just looking at pictures and just how you look, I'd say I were better than 2022. So over that
Mm,
2 years, made some improvements. It will slow down. I think the majority of your muscle is built like in the early days. But I were training all the time before and not really following a plan. And I
mm,
suppose the better you get at doing your exercises, progressing your lifts,
mm,
dieting well in the off season, you could always grind out little bits of improvement. And
mm.
I definitely did, even though I were training loads before I first competed at 32.
Yeah.
And it's only after that that I started like sticking to a training plan because I literally used to just go to gym and just do what I fancied.
Mm,
And then, training legs in particular, it's like if you're not competing,
mm.
I did used to train legs, but not like you do now because it's literally knowing that you're going to be on stage that you've got to really go for it. And I was just thinking, well, if I didn't have competing back in my head, I wouldn't like do a set of leg press and nearly pass out
Yeah.
one of it, but you,
Yeah.
you do. And yeah, I think in terms of strength, my numbers have actually gone down on a lot of leg movements, but the execution is a lot better.
Mm,
So I make a point of that on like my Instagram that I do leg press and I've got up to 550 kilogram in the past.
mm,
But the depth was not
mm,
like it is now. And it's like the foot positions, everyone's going super low on the platform, say with hack squats as well. So
mm,
the actual total weight is less, but
mm.
the actual feeling on the quads is higher. So
Yeah.
yeah, strength is down in that respect, but
Mm,
up on some others. It were interesting when I got really big in 2020. Well, before my 2022 prep, I got to
mm.
110 kilogram, which is
Well,
really heavy for me. And I did like shoulder presses with 60s and got like 6 reps.
well, yeah.
I couldn't do that now. I did 50s on my chest press for 17.
Mm,
I'm getting like 7 or 8 with those now.
yeah.
So just that extra bit of weight that I had, about like 8 kilogram,
Mm,
led to a lot of strength gains. But as soon as you start dieting, it all just drops off straight away. And
yeah.
it doesn't actually lead to more muscle, I found. So it was quite interesting.
Yeah, no, that is, yeah. And I think like the likes of like Dr. Mike and those kind of people really focusing on like full range of motion have I think transformed the way that a lot of bodybuilders train now.
Mm.
It's yeah, I'm the same. I think getting older as well, you focus less on just trying to see how much weight you can lift, and you focus more on just the stimulus of the muscle itself. But yeah, well, that's interesting. Yeah, after 2016, obviously you competed in 19, 22, and then 24. How did the 1 year off season compare to two? Because obviously you had a bit less of an off season this time. Did it make much of a difference, or did you feel you'd made like the required gains basically?
Again, I listened to a lot of podcasts, and I just remember one person saying, the older you get, there's no point having big, long off seasons. You've already made your improvements, so you might as well
Mm,
compete a bit more frequently. So
yeah.
a bit of that was in my head. Obviously, I was listening to the last podcast you did with Dan, and I think he has a couple of years off.
Mm,
The longer you have off, I suppose you can make more improvements. But yeah, I just think if you have a decent recovery phase off
mm,
season, you get enough time there to build some new muscle. So I think just a year gap is all right, especially as you get a bit older.
mm.
And there's some people that compete every year, which is I couldn't imagine doing
No,
that.
same. Yeah.
It's mad. I mean that Dirk Emmerich did it, didn't
Mm.
he?
Back to back,
They
didn't he?
do
Yeah.
stay quite lean, don't they? But yeah,
Mm.
you need some recovery. I mean, I couldn't imagine just about to start a diet in like another month or so.
Mm.
'Cause you wouldn't have
Yeah.
made improvements, really, I don't think.
No, no, you'd be regaining a bit of lost muscle, and then it would be back into prep mode, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense though. That obviously, yeah, you've gained most of the muscle you're going to gain. So,
Mm.
yeah, no, that does make sense.
So
Yeah.
when are you thinking about next competing?
Well, it's funny actually. I might have to tell my wife that same thing about obviously being older, you need less time off because I was thinking 26 or 27, but yeah, my wife Sarah, she's more leans towards take 3 to 5 years off. But yeah, so obviously it's a lot on the family as well.
It
And
is.
my kids, I mean, yeah, four of my shows were in the UK, one was abroad. And all the UK shows, my kids come to watch me. And obviously, it's amazing having them there and having a big support group. But then Sarah's got to be in the crowd looking after the kids, and
Mm,
that's quite tough. And also, yeah, it's being a dad at home on prep. It can be quite tough, just not having the energy to,
mm.
go and pick the kids up from school and stuff. And yeah, obviously eating different dinners with the family, I'd often do, especially towards the end of prep. Oats every day for dinner, and it's like, yeah, I think that gets a bit hard to live with at times.
It
How did you
does.
find that? How did you find that side of things? Obviously, you're a dad now. How did you find navigating that aspect of prep?
So I mean, it was tough. I think the first prep that I did with yourself, I didn't have kids. I didn't have a partner. I just
Mm,
lived at home. So my life was just dedicated to training and bodybuilding. So in a way, that were easier. So yeah, it brought new challenges. Obviously, my kids, like I said before, are a bit hard work. Really,
mm.
they're a bit. I think one is on the autistic spectrum. I think potentially I am as well. We go
Right,
for.
right, yeah,
I used to go for a test, but.
yeah, yeah.
Possibly, if like us bodybuilders are a bit
I think it's the
extreme,
bodybuilding thing, maybe. Yeah.
possibly.
Mm.
So yeah, the food side of things as well. Like we'd make them the food and they'd leave all of it, and I'm like, "Ugh, if I wasn't dieting, I'd eat that."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's that to contend with, and yeah, it's just part of life. I was looking at a lot of people I were competing against, and they were a bit younger. I just thought they've not got that extra
Mm.
thing to consider, but it's just life. It's something you got to work around and. If I do it again, obviously they're going to still be here. So
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly.
it's
Yeah,
one of
no,
them.
it's tough. It brings with it its own challenges, but yeah, no, it's tougher. They've got it easy, those people without kids, I say.
It probably is a bit
Yeah,
easier, isn't it? But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm coming out of it now. I just know I was grumpy towards the end, and that's something
Mm,
that I regret. I was a little bit snappy. But now I'm coming out of it. I'm like,
mm,
oh, I was a bit harsh at times, like shouting at
mm,
everything were just irritating me towards the end. So that's something I regret a little bit, but I did my
right.
best to try and
Mm,
chill as much as possible. I had my
yeah.
lavender candle. I was like trying to
Mm,
create a relaxing environment at
yeah.
home all the time. I said to my partner, we need to create a relaxing environment there.
Yeah,
It's difficult.
it's hard with kids to create that, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's funny. My son has just turned 8, and he's kind of getting into bodybuilding a little bit. He's obviously not a bodybuilder, but he went to like most of my shows. He loves doing all the poses, which is quite fun. And he loves to see who I've got coming on the podcast. And so I showed him a picture of you, and he said to me, "Oh, he's more muscly than you are, Daddy." And I was like, "Oh, cheers, thanks, buddy." And I said to him, he is more muscly than me. He's also, one of the best in the world. Now I distinctly remember when we worked together. Obviously, despite all the natural talent that you had, it was clear to me you were going to do well in bodybuilding. You were very, very humble about things. So what was it like having that kind of innate humble nature, and then all of a sudden, like pretty much everyone in natural bodybuilding knows who you are? What was it like having that kind of shift?
Um, I still think there's many bodybuilders better than me, so I just look at them that are the best, really. I mean, and they're humble. I mean, you just look at
Mm,
David Kay, he wins every single show ever, and he doesn't ever tell anyone that I'm the best, but
mm,
everyone knows it, really. So you don't have to say it. And just going back to our coaching as well, I think right at the beginning you said you asked all the right questions, and I remember backtracking to like our messages and.
right, right,
I'd have been coaching me, I'd have probably sacked me. I mean,
right.
I would question everything that you said. I was like, surely this isn't right. I
Yeah, yeah. I
think
know
I were
that's a
hard
sign of a good
work.
client.
Whoa, I think I were hard work. But yeah, in terms of like being humble, I suppose it's just the way I am. I suppose if you win, you don't have to brag about it. It
Yeah, no,
speaks for
that's it.
itself.
Yeah, yeah. But I think it is still quite a rare trait though, because a lot of bodybuilders, they have this kind of bravado about them. They're like, not they don't say they're going to win, but there's something about them. I don't want to say arrogance, that's not the right word, but there's almost like this self-assured nature that they're going in expecting to win. And yeah, you always seem very grounded, very humble, and it's refreshing. It's good to see.
I
But,
get it from my dad, really.
right.
He's like that. I always just think, some people they can show off if they want to, but they don't.
Mm,
I think
yeah.
that's pretty cool. But yeah, I've spoke to people like that, who say I'm going to win this. I'm like,
Mm.
it's a bit confident, a bit
Yeah,
cocky, right?
yeah, yeah. No, you never know who's going to turn up in bodybuilding, do you? So
You put pressure on yourself. If you
yeah.
say that and then it doesn't happen, yeah, I don't know. It just you look a bit foolish and you'd be disappointed. I think
Mm.
yeah, going into shows, just not expecting much really, because it is all subjective. And I've
Mm.
been behind stage, and everyone looks amazing. It's like flipping out, look at that
Mm.
guy, look at that guy, and you just don't know. So it always just takes you as a bit of a surprise if you've placed highly.
Mm. Yeah, no, it does, doesn't it? Yeah. I know those feelings backstage and it's intimidating seeing these people, but yeah, it's all part of the process.
Mm.
What's your current training like, Ben, at the moment? How many days a week are you training? What's your current split like?
So it's the same split. As soon as I contacted AJ, I've always been a fan of legs push pull, and I really
Mm.
like the split that you gave me originally as well. So it was
Mm.
similar. So yours were legs, chest and arms, back and shoulders. This is legs push pull,
Yeah.
but with a rest day before and after every leg workout.
Mm.
And we didn't change that training throughout the prep. Maybe just small changes to an exercise, but that stayed constant throughout. And the set rest days were good, really, because I'd just recovered in the nick of time all the time.
Mm.
And now, obviously, going into an off season, just changed it a little bit. So there's certain areas that you think, right, I could improve that a little bit.
Mm.
So AJ give me a plan. There's more shoulders on there. There's actually the glutes. We're targeting glutes now, which we didn't do
Yeah,
purposely at
I
all with
noticed
that
that.
last prep. He just said glutes are okay. We just got to work on your quads.
Hmm.
As it is, we were really pushing hard for condition to get my glutes in.
Mm.
And with that, you lose other areas. And I just thought, and he thinks as well, that the more muscle that you've got there, it'd
Mm.
come in sooner. So you don't have to dig as far. So I'm doing glute thrusts now and Bulgarian split squats and things like that just to target the glutes.
Mm.
But more or less, it's a very similar training plan.
Mm.
I've got RDLs in there twice now. It
Mm.
was an SLDL and an RDL,
Yeah.
two different back workouts. Now it's two RDLs. So yeah, I enjoy it. It's a
Yeah.
good split.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, cool. And how many is that 5 days a week you're training?
I think it works out as like 5 days. So legs, rest, push, pull, rest, legs, rest, push.
Okay.
So
Also, it's different every week. It's there's a word for it,
it
isn't it?
could
But
be,
it escapes my mind.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like I say, I like it. And now on rest days, I'm actually doing cardio, which I've not done for
Right.
years. Just to, again, just limit this weight gain post show,
Mm.
which is going well. I'm about 10 kilogram up, but in
Yeah.
previous years I've gained like 20 in this time, so
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not been too bad.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like,
You're still looking pretty lean.
and so are you actually. I saw your physique update. It
Uh,
requires more discipline, I'd say, than the actual prep to come out of it in a
mm.
controlled way.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm that lean. I think it's just good lighting where I take my progress pictures. But yeah,
Like your
yeah,
quads are still separated,
it's
and
just that's just a genetic thing. I think I'm lucky. I think as you as well, you're very very lean. I know you say your quads aren't a strong point, but they're definitely very separated, and mine are the same. I get very deep, separation between my quads. But
mm,
then yeah, for me it's just my glutes. I just don't have the genetics. I don't think to have those deep kind of Dirk Emmerich glute striations that you have as well.
mm.
Yeah, but I'm going to keep trying at least. That's the thing about bodybuilding. You got to kind of keep.
It's hard to target them, isn't it? You just see some people that have got really good quads, and then
Mm,
sometimes don't have glutes. So obviously, when they're doing some leg training, it's the quads that are taking over. So
mm,
it's somehow trying to bypass that and get it onto the weaker muscle, which I
yeah,
suppose
it's
is
it's a tough
difficult.
one. I mean, certainly from my perspective, I can always get DOMs in my glutes. I'm trying to prioritize them once a week and then kind of work them in a secondary manner another time a week. And in
Mm.
both my leg sessions, I always get soreness in the glutes. But yeah, for whatever reason, yeah, I don't think those deep lines are on the cards for me. But I'm okay with that.
Do loads of glute thrusts and loads of
Yeah, hip thrusts, they don't really work for me. I think just the way my body is built, I find they're massively they give me a lot of lower back tightness whenever I
Mm.
do the hip thrusts. How are you finding doing those? Because you were just
It's all
introduced.
right. Like I say, I've just started doing them. So obviously all this evidence now that you've got to stretch the muscle, it's very much just a contracting exercise, isn't it? It's not actually stretching them.
No, no.
It feels okay, but it's basically it just feels like you're doing a back relaxed with your glutes tucked in
Right.
constantly.
Okay.
Basically doing exercise, practicing that with weight. Whether that'll lead to more muscle growth, I don't know, but I'll keep doing them. And
Yeah, yeah.
I find if you go too heavy, you don't get that squeeze. So
Mm,
yeah,
yeah, that
so
makes
just
sense. Do you do any of that, the whole length and partials thing? I know they're quite big at the moment.
yeah. So it's all the range of motion. Same with like leg press. All the evidence is like you got to stretch the muscle. I won't say I do partial reps too much, but
Hmm.
definitely working things to the full range, making sure that I'm stretching the muscle, and
Mm,
hopefully that will lead to more muscle growth. I think evidence is still a bit up and down.
mm,
Again, all the things you listen to, it's like there's lots of evidence for it, and then there's a study saying, oh, there's no difference between like the
yeah,
length range and the mid range.
yeah,
So
yeah.
hopefully, the evidence does get secure on that, and it's
Mm,
official.
yeah. I think you can't go wrong with full range of motion either way. And then I think, yeah, with the partial stuff, they just seem to suit some exercises, some movements better, don't they?
Hmm.
Um, I'm curious to know what are your so are glutes one of the areas you want to bring up for next time?
Glutes and just everywhere, really, I suppose. Yeah. Again, just standing next to Sam Hartman, that's where you almost see like, well, he's better than me there, so I need to bring that up.
Hmm.
And I were always unfortunate to compete against David Kay. So every year I competed, he seemed to
Right,
compete.
right.
And I always just think, well, every single muscle he's got is better than mine. So I always just
Right.
thought I'd love to look like that.
Mm,
Hamstrings are phenomenal,
mm,
just everywhere. So yeah, so there's no like specific area, but me and AJ did pinpoint glutes and more width. I don't know how you can make it. We're doing more shoulders to maybe
right.
make it go out a bit further, but I suppose it is limited. How about yourself? Have you targeted any
For me,
area?
like speaking to Josh, he coached me for this prep. It's a lot of I think thickness is a bit of a weak point, certainly from my back. So I get really, really detailed and quite lean in the back. But there isn't that kind of round, kind of bodybuildery back look so that we're going to try and work on that. So I'll be doing a lot more rowing movements to try and get some thickness. And yeah, hamstrings as well for me. I think it's just lack of training hamstrings in my early years has led to them being a bit lagging compared to other body parts.
Mm.
So yeah, hamstrings and back thickness are being my kind of my areas to bring up. I'd like to get my arms a bit bigger as well. I keep looking at your arms and thinking, yeah, I need to add a few inches to my biceps because I think just having big arms is going to help on the bodybuilding stage. Obviously the front relax, so that kind of capped shoulder look. So I do delts twice sweep, but then I also do a third. I throw some lateral raises in on one of my leg days, which is today actually. So yeah, I think you can never have, like Dan said in the last episode, shoulders that are wide, too wide, arms that are too big.
Mhm.
Basically everything from my perspective. I've got
Yeah.
some catching up to do.
Well, the standard on your shows as well, like the masters category, I mean, it's crazy. Some of the people you're up against,
Mm,
obviously you won the overall first time you competed, and
yeah, yeah.
on paper I thought he's going to win that. And
Mm,
it's all subjective again. You got very lean, but
yeah.
it shows that every single category is improved.
Yeah,
on
oh, that's the thing.
him.
Bodybuilding's moved on. Yeah, I think the Masters show I did in the WNBF, the guy that won, Innocent, like he
Mm.
had such a dense physique, and he would become world champion. He's a pro now, and yeah, I knew we'll go the instat that I'm battling for second place really, and I got third in the end. But
Well, he went to America and he looked phenomenal. He
mm,
WNBF, and I actually did the Masters show in Vegas. Just before the Olympia.
oh, did you?
Just applied on the day. I was talking to Ali Stewart, and he said, "Are you doing the Masters as well?" I'm like, "Can you do two?" And he's like,
Mm.
"Yeah." I'm like, "Well, I might as well do another one."
Oh, right, right.
So I just like chucked my name into that. Cost a fortune. It cost like $300 or something to just
Really?
enter the category.
Right, right. Well,
So I did it, and Yeah, like traditionally, you think the youngest master will probably do
Mm,
maybe.
yeah.
But, yeah, I did that one first. That were a stat class, and then went for overall.
Oh, nice. Oh, I didn't know you did that. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
the guy that comes second in the Masters also comes second in the overall as well.
Right, yeah. So
But
just to
that,
show the quality, I guess. Yeah.
but that were intimidating. Literally, I just thought last minute I'll enter that. I thought I've got a chance for that one. But then again, behind stage, in 2022, I did the Olympia. The
Mm,
overall winner was there, so he just literally stood up at last minute. We're all pumping up, and then I'm like, oh, he's here again.
right, right.
Oh no! And then there were Ali Stewart, which
Mm,
he did really well for the WNBF last time he competed. He comes second in the heavyweight, so I thought he'll look really good. And he's not
mm,
revealed anything yet.
hmm.
I just thought I wish I didn't enter this one
Right,
actually.
right.
There's some really good, and the guy that comes second, I remember you just I kept looking at him. I'm like, what's he like? And he looks
Mm,
really good, and he was just looking at me, just like just same as.
really, right, right. Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? The kind of sizing each other up backstage in bodybuilding shows. It's a thing, isn't
Yeah.
it?
He was just like kind of smiling, just looking over, just like smiling. And I would just like every chance I could, just like look at him. And I thought, yeah, he's quite good, him. And you just
Mm,
wake everyone up, aren't you?
yeah, yeah. No, that's it. It's mind games, isn't it?
Mm.
How long do you reckon you'll be, yeah, doing this for, Ben? I'm curious. I've been thinking about this myself as well. Like, yeah, another 10 years or so?
We'll see.
We'll see.
I've said it many times that I'm retired.
Right,
So
right, okay.
then I'm like, this is last one. And I went into that last prep saying it was my last one. But
Mm,
I think I'll keep doing it. I think there's something just strangely addictive about it.
mm,
You do enjoy the process. So as long as possible, there's masters category. I think it's whilst you can, you might as well do it.
yeah, yeah.
It's just like I say, the strain on your family that it can
Mm,
cause. So like I say, with the next one, if I could start it leaner and
hmm.
have a shorter diet, that'll be a big win for me because
Mm,
get it to like 20 weeks, that'll be good.
yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense. So yeah, future plans, I guess, would you think maybe a couple of years?
Um, girlfriend's in.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah. No, you're all good.
Couple of years. Well, I'll compete 2026. That's my
Yeah,
target.
26. Yeah, cool, cool. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what that's like. Yeah, did you have any questions at all, Ben? I'm more happy to answer some.
Well, I've asked you a few.
Yeah.
Like I say, like you're a big influence on me getting into it to start with, and it's just great that you've come back after such a long time.
Mm, I know. Oh,
Yeah, I
thank
mean,
you.
so knowledgeable. I mean, are you still coaching competitors or not?
I'm not. I thought about getting back into coaching, but like PT is quite busy, and yeah, for me, I wanted to a way of me getting back into bodybuilding was doing this podcast. I love, yeah, it's been great to get back into it and just chatting to people like yourself. Um, it's kind of my way of getting back into the sport really because I find it really enjoyable getting insights into the way people train and everything. So I'm not planning on doing any coaching. Um, but yeah, we shall see. That might change at some point soon. But for the moment, the main goal is just PT, my own training, and then this podcast as well.
Well, it's a good way of getting back into it. I mean, anyone that's competing, they listen to podcasts. I know
Mm,
I do when I'm right in the depth of prep. I'm literally
mm,
just waiting for someone that I'm subscribed to release a
mm.
new podcast, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
so now I can do my steps and I can listen. So I
Mm,
tend to like fully immerse myself in anything bodybuilding related, and yeah, podcasts like this, especially focusing on natural bodybuilding.
mm.
I think they'll help a lot of people.
Yeah,
So.
I hope so. There aren't many people doing it, and yeah, I've been listening to podcasts for so many years. I thought, oh yeah, let's give that a go. And yeah, I'm having fun, having a lot of fun so far with them. So,
And there'll be a lot of coverage this year, no doubt. I mean, I think, well, I did a little bit of a podcast with Beyond the Stage
oh,
TV.
did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought it was just going to be like this, or talking about me, but we were talking about the federations, and I'm a bit like,
Right.
and he says, there's 9 federations offering drug-free shows this year. I'm like, and he
R-
asked me about OCB, and I'm like,
Oh, okay.
know about it.
Right,
So,
right. Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, there's so many shows, so there'll be a lot of people competing, no doubt. So.
It's definitely getting bigger, natural bodybuilding. It's yeah, it's great to see. I'm gonna hopefully go to a few shows this year just as a spectator, just to yeah, just as I enjoy it really. It's good to be back, that's for sure.
Like
But
I say, the standard just seems to get better, and
does
I've got a couple of guys competing as well, so I'll go to some of the shows. But
mm,
it's just exciting because you see some people in the off season about to start the preps,
mm,
i.e. AJ. He did
yeah.
amazing with his last showing, even though it was a very aggressive diet.
Hmm.
He never reveals anything how he looks
Mm,
until he's on stage. And I were at the show that he did, and very close to the overall. There were a German guy, I think, won it, so he
right.
travelled over. If it went for him, AJ would have probably won that. But
Mm,
say if AJ's better than he were last time,
mm.
that would be impressive. And Adam Power as well. So I don't know if
Yeah,
he's
he's looking amazing as well, isn't he?
incredible physique and yeah, his quads now. You can see feathers on his quads now. Just imagine
Mm.
what he'll look like. There's a local lad that lives near me called Chris Drinkwater,
Okay.
who he won AJ's first show, the
Yeah.
overall, and then competed in the world finals in Manchester. I think he came second in the final, so just missed out on his pro card. I think he's competing this year,
Right.
and I think he'll do well.
Yeah.
There's so many. So my actual client, Ryan Savage, as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so many improvements. His legs are crazy. So yeah, it'll be a good year.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'll keep a lookout for him. What show is he going to?
Uh, there's so many. So I think like the WNBF, like BNBF, UKDFBA, PCA, have
Mm.
all got shows and they're a week apart.
Right. Right.
And it's like we could do them all, but it's literally just it'll be awkward.
Mm. Yeah.
So I think we've just pinpointed UKDFBA, BNBF, and WNBF for now.
Yeah. Right. Right.
There's so many others that were an option.
Yeah. And the managing fatigue and just managing the freshness of the physique, that's a big one, isn't it, really? Yeah, I
It's
find my physique definitely faded. How was out of curiosity, how was your physique like at the very last show of the year? Do you think you peaked then? Was that your absolute best?
probably not. Again, it's hard to tell based on stage pictures, but we mastered the peak more towards the end. It was bizarre what we tried, really. So at the Natural Olympia, and AJ's mentioned this on a few podcasts, that in the morning I'm really lean. You
I
can
heard
see
this,
all the
yeah.
lines in my glutes, and then if I were to do another physique update 3 hours later, I'm not nowhere near as lean. My glutes in
Mm,
particular. And we literally just agreed that on show day, I was just eating porridge. So my
yeah.
contest prep diet was a bizarre one in that it were protein oats 4 times and then one of the meal. So I really like my protein oats. And then on
Yeah.
show day, it was just protein oats. But then for one of them, I just said, should we just try not having the oats?
Mm,
As it were, I just had protein powder and flaxseed. So I used to put some flaxseed on my oats.
hmm.
So we just did that for a bit of flaxseed. And then I did a physique update and I didn't spill over. I still looked really, really lean.
Yeah.
So we mastered the peak in that respect, which I think I'll be doing that forever now. So literally no carbs on show day,
Hmm.
fat and protein. But yeah, physique did fade a little bit, I'd say, after Vegas. So
Mm,
I made a rookie error in Vegas of like before I went on stage, I used to have a non-stim pump product.
yeah.
I bought my stim product instead. I was like, oh,
Right. Oh no.
and it were we got on stage at about 8 p.m.
Right, right.
Oh, well, I'll have it. So then I did the show, won it. So I run a high,
Hmm.
and even more of a high because I just had like 400 milligrams
Yeah.
of caffeine. So that particular night, I couldn't sleep at all. So I was just
Right.
wandering around Vegas. And then the following morning, I flew home.
Mm.
And you were just didn't sleep. I got like a 30 score on my ring.
Mm.
I actually got ill as well. I could
Right.
feel like I got ill. And my next physique update at home, I didn't really notice it too much, but AJ did straight away. He said, he says, right, we need to drop your steps. We need to start increasing. Your quads are fading a bit.
Mm.
Like they are actually. So I think just that particular night could have caused a bit of damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, just holding on to that condition. I think I heard you saying it really. You've just got a small window where
Mm.
you're at your peak and
Mm.
push a bit too far and then you just start to fade a little bit, which
Yeah.
potentially I did, but it's
Mm.
just, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Now that's
Do
that's
you think you
interesting.
faded, did you?
Yeah, no, I definitely did towards the end. But like, yeah, like yourself, I got ill as well. Um, I had a stomach bug. It's like I think it was 8 days before the DFAC World Finals, and it was we were around a friend's house at the time, and it was so bad that I was literally crawling on the floor, like to the door of the room. And I've got such a big house, and the door for like about 3 miles away. And I was like, I just need to get out of this house or get to the toilet. And yeah, that was 8 days before the DFAC Worlds.
Mm.
What was amazing is that the recovery was pretty quick. So within 24 hours, I felt completely better. But I'm pretty sure that feeling that rough definitely did something to my physique. But like I said before, I think it was because I was very lean. I think certainly everyone's different, but I can't stay super lean for that long. It's just, yeah, the look does start to fade, definitely.
It does. I mean, I had varied looks. The first show at the Austria show from the front looked really good. I've got some really good pictures, but I won't
Mm,
upload the ones from the back because my glutes were fat. I had fat glutes.
right.
But it's just getting that sweet spot between muscularity and condition. And
Mm,
sometimes you push a bit too far, and sometimes you don't know where the threshold is. It's like, well,
mm,
I'm just going to try,
yeah.
and then that's where. So that you always won't make that mistake again.
Yeah.
But inevitably you do. You always
Yeah.
just
No,
push a
that's the
bit too.
thing. I think, yeah,
You
it's
just
just
think,
in our nature. You just want to try and get as conditioned as possible, don't you? But it's only on reflection, looking back, and you think, okay, I looked better in those earlier shows when I wasn't quite as lean, but I had a bit more fullness. Yeah, it's a weird one,
mm,
isn't it? The prep mindset is just one of digging and digging, I think. But that's where having someone like
that's why
AJ,
it's good to have a coach.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, well, this has been really cool. I'd love to know actually. Let's say I'd love to know. You obviously you've been doing this a while now. What advice would you give to someone who's thinking about getting into bodybuilding? Never done it before.
Give it a go. Watch a show first. So that's how I did it. And similar to you, I only knew of one federation. It was
Mm,
BMBF. I went to watch a friend, and it were a drug-free show. Didn't even know drug-free bodybuilding existed, and I've never thought about competing because I just thought, well, I don't look like them big guys. But then I went to the show, and I thought, well, I'm better than him, and I'm better than
hmm
him, and
Yeah.
it gives you confidence. It's like actually, it's more achievable. So watch a show. Get a coach definitely because it'll make the process easier, and just give it a go. It's if you're into bodybuilding and training, it's just naturally part of that journey. It's like everyone's training and everyone's sticking to a bit of a diet. Do it proper and see how far you can take it.
Yeah, no, I think that's great advice. Yeah, that's all really good there. Um, I think we're done. We're time for the quick fire questions that I wanted to change these, but we're going to keep them the same. So, what is your favorite film, Ben?
Predator,
Oh, amazing. Yeah, yeah, that is a classic. It's
brilliant.
a good one.
Yeah,
I first saw that when I was about 9 years old and probably has scarred me for life because I was a bit too young. But it's a great film.
yeah. Just that scene where they catch a glimpse of him and then they just start shooting in bushes for
Ah,
about 2 minutes. Oh, this is ace.
yeah, yeah.
And
It's a
oh,
testosterone filled scene, that one. That's
yeah.
yeah.
What's yours? Have you probably answered it?
Oh, no, I haven't actually. No, but thanks for asking. I have so many, and I think it would depend on the day as to what
Mine
no,
came instant. I've got others, but it's Predator.
that came to your head. Yeah, yeah,
But
that would be up there. Like Terminator 2 is a real favorite of mine as well. That's one of the films I saw as a young age that yeah really influenced me.
mm,
Um, yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Terminator 2. Although
brilliant.
there are probably others that would be in the mix too.
Mm.
What's your favorite food when dieting? I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you anyway.
Protein oats.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. I knew it. I knew it.
amazing. I've got, I think, about 15 different flavored proteins.
Nice.
There's
What's your
all-
go-to? What's your favorite?
Oh, well, I've got, because I have protein oats 4 times. It's like answering the best film. It's like, oh, which one? I like Trained by JP. That's a good brand overall. ISO Surge coconut cream is probably my favorite.
Okay, that sound good.
By Mutant. That's by Mutant.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And your oats, you're having quite a large serving of oats now. You're in the off season, aren't you?
Yeah, it's 228 grams per
That's a lot.
bowl to be exact, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
9 grams of protein powder. And I put just over 1,000 ml of water in microwave for 8 minutes.
Mm.
Maybe a gram or two of pink Himalayan salt.
hmm
Have that 4 times a day.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. No, getting those calories in. That's good to see.
It's
Uh,
amazing.
Favorite off-season food?
A curry.
Ah,
I'm a
nice.
big fan of a curry, and it's always a shame that I finish my dates in America because
Yeah.
there's no good curry
It's no...
places, like burgers. But yeah, curry,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. We
What's
had one.
yours? What's your favorite prep food? And
I'm the same as you. Oats absolutely is going to be my favorite. And I don't have 228 grams. I'm not that fortunate with my calorie allowance, but I start at 125 grams and then it whittles down, but it doesn't go down that much. I go down to 100 grams a day in the deepest, darkest stages of prep. Protein oats, absolutely. Having it 2 to 3 times a day. No, no, 1 to 2, I'd say, on prep.
mm,
Yeah, love it. My
what
favorite
about
off-season food.
off
I love a
season?
curry as well, but I think I'd have like a nice rare steak would be up there for me. But not a fan.
Well, it's all right, but yeah,
Yeah,
curry.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That curry is good. We had one at the weekend. It was good. Trying to get our kids into it. They're so fussy with eating.
mm.
But
I just go
actually,
by myself because my kids don't like it, my girlfriend don't like it,
oh
so I just
really?
myself.
Yeah, fair enough. What are your hobbies outside of bodybuilding, Ben?
Work at the minute.
Mm,
It's like I enjoy working, like being busy.
hmm
Not a lot really. I like watching football. Man
mm,
United fan. Um, it used to be computer games. I used to hammer computer games, but
mm.
I don't play them anymore. I've done my time,
Right, right.
so not a lot really.
Oh really? Yeah.
It's
No, that's
just
uh,
it's just
that's fair enough.
mainly work. Like I say, I enjoy it.
It
What about
takes over,
you?
doesn't it?
What's your hobbies?
You know what? I'm into gaming actually. So me and my son play the Xbox occasionally when he's allowed to play at the weekend. I also got a VR headset recently for for that side of gaming. Yeah, gaming's
You
my big one actually. I read, I do less reading than I used to, but I read every night. Um, but I'd say gaming's probably the big one at the moment. And yeah, bodybuilding is kind of all encompassing at the moment, and the podcast, obviously.
definitely done my time. Again, when I contacted you, I was just a gamer.
How are
So
you?
I used to game all the time. My story is that I used to play that much that I had to bandage my fingers up.
Right, right. Well, yeah. What did you play?
Loads of like shooting games, really. So the one that I had to bandage my fingers up for was Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops.
Oh, classics. Those are, yeah, I played
First
those.
ones. Yeah, so just playing them for days, really.
Hmm.
Halo,
Yeah.
Team Fortress, all the shooting games, really.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Football Manager was a good one as well, but obviously they
Yeah. Yeah,
bandaged my fingers for that one.
I remember Chat Manager. It was 97, 98. I put a lot of time back in that in
I'm
the
still looking to download one of them now. I just think it's in terms of like dropping stress, that is a good game for it, really. It's
yeah.
hard to get it on Mac. It's pretty impossible,
Oh, is
but
it?
it is. You have to literally buy a PC to get it on. But
I see.
yeah,
Yeah, you're probably doing the right thing by avoiding gaming that much. Like the new Call of Duty is very addictive, and yeah,
I'm
it's
just not good at them. I were good at them ones because I played it that long, and then they brought a new one out. I thought, no, I've learned this
mm,
one, and I
yeah, yeah,
stuck on that one.
yeah. But yeah, they haven't changed that much to be fair. But yeah, no, they're too addictive. If you've got an addictive personality like me, they're probably best avoided.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
all right, I think that wraps things up nicely. Yeah, thanks so much for your time, Ben. This has been a lot of fun. Really good to catch up with you again. And I'll leave links to obviously your social media stuff on this. But yeah, thanks guys for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.